Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. We are the Hologrumps. I'm Liam.
And I'm Column.
And we're here today to review the last episode of The Clone Wars, Season 7, Episode 12, titled Victory and Death. But before we start, if you like what you see here, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and comment below because we do indeed enjoy responding to comments. So, Colin, what did you think of this episode?
Well, Liam, just for full disclosure, I have actually watched every other episode in the series. I didn't just jump on at the last episode, just to be clear, in case someone thought I might have decided to dip my toes into Clone Wars and start working backwards from the end to the beginning. I really enjoyed it. It was a good end. And that's what every series needs. More than anything, a good ending to a full-length series. I mean, it was always a bit touch and go when it came to like season 6, because that was the de facto end for years. And it's kind of lucky that we actually, in the end, got season 7. I know it was written years ago and they tweaked it for today, but Dave Filoni did a great job with his Star Wars franchise.
Mostly a great job. There were a couple of episodes in there, like episode 5 till 9, that I didn't particularly see the need for.
Well, everything has its flaws. Everything has its flaws,
yep.
Except for Avatar, obviously.
But it ended on a very, very damn high note, didn't it? Indeed. It was a satisfying conclusion to the series, and it ended exactly how you'd imagine it could end, because we've seen all the stuff that happened in Order 66 in the films from the point of view of our heroes, Anakin, our faux hero, Anakin, and Obi-Wan and Yoda, etc., etc. So we just had this one character that was remaining, which was Ahsoka Tano, who, much to my dismay, was given blue lightsabers.
If I have to have this conversation with you again, I'm going to throw my camera through a window. It's blue. Blue's for brave people. Green's for cowards.
That's why I love green lightsabers.
I'm an unapologetic coward.
That's what I loved about Ahsoka. She was our hero that was just pioneering. No, not pioneering. That was championing the green lightsaber. And then they took it away, that for a reason it definitely wasn't to sell the Ahsoka Season 7 action hero.
You're really going to get upset when you find out that she has white lightsabers in
I know
Rebels.
that. I know she has white lightsabers in Rebels.
Yeah, but do you know the new canon reason as to why she has blue lightsabers? Why don't you tell us, Liam?
So, according to Dave Filoni, Anakin's Force hue influenced the lightsabers to change color whilst they were in his possession.
But does that mean he carried them around at all times, Liam?
Action heroes. I'm going to say it's the action heroes. Let's find out now. Is there an Ahsoka Season 7 action hero with blue lightsabers?
This is the part where I'll probably edit in a picture of it.
Yes, there is. There is a Season 7 Ahsoka with blue lightsabers. So, yeah, I reckon. What do you think, Colin? Does the skeptic within us think that's the reason?
I think that green is as good as blue and they just forgot which hue.
Okay, now let's get back to the the review of the episode. So, how did you? So, what did you think of the episode being solely focused on the Star Cruiser jumping between Darth Maul, Ahsoka, and Rex?
I think that's the only way they could have done it. Because if I had started seeing parts of Obi-Wan or parts of Anakin, well, I couldn't see Anakin. But if I had started seeing any of that, it would have taken me out of it. Despite how much I wanted to see it, it's been done. And there is no reason to go over it again or to even add in even the tiniest bit of extra information.
Because yeah, and I think for that reason, that if this had been condensed, or not condensed rather, if this had been say a 2-parter instead of a 4-parter, so we had the first 2 was the Siege of Mandalore, the second 2 was Order 66, I think it would have flowed much better, because there was this, when you leave it on a cliffhanger like that, you expect something bigger then to happen in the next episode.
The whole point of Siege of Mandalore is to show one of the final days of the Clone Wars. It was touched upon very briefly in Rebels, where Ahsoka mentions that she fought with Anakin all from this place all the way up to the Siege of Mandalore. He was the bravest guy I knew. Obviously, this is all before she knew he was Darth Vader. But anything after that, it was a big grey area. So I think the writers kind of latched onto that as being the end of the season. Darth Maul is kind of fan service at this point. He's like the anti-hero at this point, even though he is pure evil and he'll just kill you for fun. But people seem to seem attracted to him for some reason. But gotta say that fight scene between himself and Ahsoka was pretty epic, considering, as we both know, they got Ray Parks back to do the mocap for it, and Ray Parks is the actual Darth Maul.
Yeah, and the thing about how brilliant he is as a mover, even after all these years from when The Phantom Menace was filmed, his movement is so brilliant that you don't even notice that all of a sudden it's a real person doing the movement. I would have loved when Ahsoka took out her 2 lightsabers for him. They did the behind the head shot of Phantom Menace where he's looking at Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon like this.
Yeah.
That would have been just silly, but I jest, of course. What did you think about him and Ahsoka being in conflict with each other, as in this type of who's more powerful than who?
I made the argument to Liam that it was disappointing to see Darth Maul get beaten by Ahsoka, considering he managed to kill a Jedi Master. Well, okay, a would-be Jedi Master, but Liam made the point that Maul was in flight mode.
He was taking his flight, trying to get off the planet as quick as possible, and he had a ship waiting for him. But the other thing about that I didn't think about is Ahsoka hasn't touched a lightsaber in about a year now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, for the Siege of Mandalore, she's just able to take on Darth Maul, who's been wielding one continuously.
Maybe they're like bicycles.
Yeah, well, it's presumably so, because she was fighting in the battles on Mandalore at the same time, on the lead up to that event. Did you notice the way in the scene where Darth Maul was trying to escape and he pushes Ahsoka back, that when he escapes into that ship and Ahsoka grabs Darth Maul's ship, it seemed like a direct comparison or direct response to The Rise of Skywalker, where Rey grabs what she thinks is Chewie's prisoner ship, but then Rey accidentally blows it up, whereas Ahsoka manages to let it go. She doesn't accidentally shoot lightning from her hands, so it's kind of like, okay, guys, let's decide who actually is better in this regard. The sad thing about watching all of this and realizing just how good the series is that I've been immersed in such good Star Wars, from playing Fallen Order to rewatching all of the Clone Wars, that I've completely forgotten about the sequel trilogy, and I don't even want to ever go back to it. In terms of a series finale, do you think the Clone Wars has a rewatchability factor now? Because we know how it ends, and of course the ending of a show is probably the most important thing, as we've argued.
I wouldn't necessarily say I would rewatch it, but that's me, because I'm kind of a one and done kind of person. I don't really like going back to shows that I've just watched.
Could you recommend it for other people, knowing how it's finished in this case?
I could, but to be honest, even if it didn't finish well, I would recommend it to people, because it is a nice insight. Unless it ended catastrophically, where we find out that Anakin isn't actually Vader and Obi-Wan did die or something, and it's his cousin
Anakin.
Ben.
Yeah, Anakin was replaced by an imposter on one of the missions, and that he was the one the entire time.
Yeah.
And we find this out in season 7, so they can retcon the whole thing about Anakin wasn't the chosen
Killing
one.
younglings.
Yeah. He didn't do any of this.
He was away on Yavin 4. Okay, and we're going to close it out there. So, if you like what you see, if you enjoy what you saw, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And never be afraid to comment below what you thought about the Clone Wars, because we will, of course, endeavour to reply. So, for the Hologrumps, I've been Colum.
And I've been Liam.
And remember, existence is futile.